It was discussed the whole year round. There were presumptions and speculations right up until September, and then it took place, the world premiere in Berlin. Then it was off to Paris. And then came the big disappointment. Maybe expectations were too high, as somehow the new Golf looks just like it always has. Some may say it looks boring. Others feel it's what a Golf has to look like, which is why only cautious changes were made to the new design and nothing was radically overhauled. You simply can't force an evergreen to change its look entirely. So, just a new paint job and Bob's your uncle? No way. The Golf only looks old when you don't look at it properly. When you do, you can see that a lot has changed. Sharp-looking eyes and lines. It's wider, longer, lower too, which makes it appear somehow fuller than its predecessor. The Golf has a 5 cm longer wheelbase as well, which means more legroom in the back. And to conclude the topic of physical growth, the boot now holds 380 litres, 30 more than its dad. But we've seen enough of the new Golf just standing there in the past days and weeks. We want to get behind the wheel and see what has changed technically and how the 7th Golf generation really feels and handles. The cockpit meets all the requirements. You could almost say there's a breath of Passat wafting through the Golf. I like the fact that the centre console now slants toward the driver. It didn't used to, and this simplifies handling. All the buttons are located just where you need them, although you don't need some of them at all, due to the touch screen in the new Golf. And occasionally, watch out, some things don't even need touching. The Golf has been pumped full with all sorts of technology. The list of assistants is long. Emergency brake function, parking assistant, adaptive steering, vehicle interval radar and much more. All those wanting the works out of the colourful catalogue will have to part with some big banknotes. If everything presented in the price list is actually in the car, then it has to be a winner. Progressive steering, front axle transverse lock, sports suspension and adjustable driving programs. The drive wheels stick to the floor in sharp bends and the steering is far more direct. All in all, the new Golf drives like an old friend, hardly different to its predecessor. As far as the engines go, it's a case of business as usual. Sure, they've been overhauled and fine-tuned. They're now more efficient, use less juice and still have more performance. On average, the new Golf fleet saves around 14% fuel-wise. 2 petrol versions are on offer at the launch with 85 and 144 horsepower to choose from, as well as 2 diesel versions with 105 and 150 horsepower. We drove the 2-litre TDI, an ox with consistent power development. Now he has 150 horsepower, 10 horses more than before. The big diesel cracks the 62 in 8.6 seconds. Propulsion up to 212 kilometers per hour, which is 131 miles, and investment of 4.4 litres of diesel for 62 miles is necessary for these road performances. That's what it says in the book. On a fast drive on country roads, we used up more than 6 litres with ease. Then along comes a new engine, the 1.4 TSI with cylinder deactivation. We've seen this in the Polo Blue GT already. This means the Golf is the second model in which this technology rears its head. It's a pity that a hybrid or an electric aggregate weren't available for the launch of the Golf VII. Other direct competitors in this segment, like the Toyota Auris, already have this on offer, automatically piling heaps of pressure on VW. In conclusion, the Golf remains what it always was, a Golf. Yes, it's better than its predecessor, but aren't we supposed to expect that of a successor? Actually, the nicest surprise is that it has not become more expensive, €16,975 for the base model, and for those who consider it to be too expensive, there are many cheaper ways of driving a Golf, or even getting to one. And I'm sure there are, especially when you consider that a Golf VII fully loaded can easily add up to €30,000. A pity it has to be so expensive, especially as VW spend around 30% less on the construction of their bestseller. But they didn't pass this on to the customer. Why not? Probably because as of the 10th of November, despite any of this, the Golf will once again sell like hotcakes.